Good morning. We would like to welcome you to the 2022 School District of Palm Beach County Virtual Technology Conference. My name is Carla P. Kendall. I work in the Department of Assessment. I am a manager, and we have with us today also Ms. Taryn Butler. She is going to be our moderator of the chat. Taryn is one of our fabulous EDW specialists, and she is definitely known as a data guru. So, we want to welcome you to this session that's all about technology tools to enhance social studies instruction with ELLs with the presenter Allyson Berrios de Gacharna. So, we are going to go through just a few of today's highlights. And we're going to start with the agenda. So we know that we had the opening session that started at 8 o'clock, and we are now in session A, where we're going to learn some interesting information. And we know that there are several sessions that are taking place throughout the day. And we hope that you get the opportunity to take advantage of all of them and definitely visit our exhibit hall exploration, where we have a lot of interesting, fun things there, very interactive. And so we want to introduce you to our Ed Technology team who has worked so very hard to make sure that this technology conference was interactive, it was great, it was purposeful, and that you would definitely take advantage of this day of learning. And so what we're going to do at this time is we're going to continue to make sure that you understand that we have a few housekeeping rules. All right, so we want to make sure that you use the chat box to communicate. This is so very important because within this session, we would like for you to interact with each other. And so, therefore, you're going to see once you chat in the box that you're going to see Taryn is our moderator. And so, she'll have a little wrench next to her name to let you know that she is the one that's moderating the chat because we do want to make sure that everything that we're discussing is on point and highly professional. Now, if this is the first time that you have entered the chat area and that you have interacted with the Ed Technology team in this manner, then you're going to have to, first of all, create a channel, a YouTube channel. Once you create that YouTube channel, it would allow you to go in and then you can start to chat in live time. So this session is going to be recorded. It's going to be available for you on the conference platform for 30 days. But no fear, it's going to be on our YouTube channel for the life of the channel. So don't feel that you're going to miss out on any information once it's this platform is not there on 30 days. So I want to remind everyone to like this video and also to go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to the Ed Technology channel. All right. And we would love to see where you are learning today. We would love to see where you're learning from. And we would love to hear some of those things that really spoke to you throughout the conference today. So we're going to ask that each of you please use hashtag PBC Tech Conference on Twitter and be sure to tag at EdTech PBC. This is going to be so very, very important that we continue to track what we're learning and how we're learning, and just to see all the interactive things that that are taking place today. So, with that being said, right now we're going to just play the videos that are being presented to you because our presenters have submitted 2 videos that are going to cover the topic today. And we're going to begin with video number 1.
Welcome to Technology Tools to Enhance Social Studies Instruction with the English Language Learners, ELLs. My name is Allyson Berrios de Gacharna. I'm an ESOL PD and Instructional Specialist working for the Multicultural Education Department. I am glad you decided to join me. This presentation is aligned with our School District of Palm Beach County's mission, which is to educate, affirm, and inspire each student in an equity-embedded school system. Also, with the mission of the Department of Multicultural Education and the Migrant Education Program, which is to educate, affirm, and inspire immigrant students, migrant students, and multilingual learners in an equity-embedded school system that includes and promotes additive language acquisition models of instruction. Here are the objectives for this presentation. The content objective is all about determining best practices to support ELL students in social studies civics classrooms using specific technological tools. The language objective is all about being an active listener to determine best practices to support ELL students in social studies civics classrooms using specific technological tools. Here are important agreements to remember to abide to in our instruction to English language learners. First, creating, supporting, and sustaining a culture of access and equity require being responsive to students' backgrounds, experiences, cultural perspectives, tradition, and knowledge when designing and implementing academic programs and assessing its effectiveness. Acknowledging and addressing factors that contribute to differential outcomes among groups of students are critical to ensuring that all students routinely have opportunity to experience high quality instruction and receive support necessary to be successful. We all remember that English language learners can. Scaffolding is a process that allows the students to work in a contextualized setting and solve problems while focusing on building the associated skill. The following picture presents a pictorial representation of how scaffolding works. If we want a student to achieve the learning outcome which is new to them and out of their reach by virtue of being on top of a building, we can build scaffolds or supporting structures around the building to help the student get to the learning outcome. These supports involve meaningful activities and continuous feedback and assessment to ensure that the student is able to build independence. I want to present a few technology tools that will help enhance instruction with English language learners in social studies classrooms. Teachers can use these tools to help build background knowledge, teach content vocabulary, help read with fluency, and also help with comparing and contrasting the past to the present. Here's a list of tech tools educators constantly use during instruction and have found that helps through virtual learning as well as in the face-to-face model of instruction. Nearpod, which is used to provide geographical support with the virtual field trips and to support vocabulary instruction with specific matching activities. Also, the use of pictures to enhance vocabulary instruction, Jamboard, which is used for specific exit tickets, Flocabulary, which is also used to enhance vocabulary instruction, ReadWorks to support reading activities and reading skills, and Google Earth to compare and contrast past and present geographical landmarks. Let's go into more details about how these tech tools can be used in our classrooms. Brain research from Carnegie Mellon psychologists confirms that it's easier to learn something new when we can attach it to something we already know. Other research, including the study of prior knowledge activation inducing engagement with informational text, supports the idea that activating prior knowledge is a critical step in the learning. How can I build background knowledge? Here's an example of a world history 6th grade benchmark. Students are required to identify key figures and basic beliefs of the Israelites and determine how these beliefs compare with those of others in their geographic area. To begin the lesson, the students have the opportunity to learn very specific vocabulary. As you can see here in this example, the pictures not only have the word in English, but also the word in their native language. In this case, we're using English and Italian. Key vocabulary, translation in home language, and visual support are essential for our students. At this point, they start piecing together the major concepts of the text while they're reading. Remember that prior to reading, it's important to think about the major concepts and how we can visually front load the information so students can build background knowledge. In this example, now we see the key vocabulary words in context in this picture. Word and picture banks increase comprehension of academic vocabulary and study skills. Now here's a template that can be used with students to enhance vocabulary instruction. Pretty simple. Notice that students can include a cognate and a picture in addition to the definition of the word or concept presented in the lesson. Now let me show you this example. The word is in the middle, which is a rabbi, and notice how the students have the opportunity to not only include the definition, but also include the cognate in their language, an image, and also write a sentence using the word in context. The use of content-specific glossaries is something we recommend to use in social studies classrooms, but also provide students with the ELA glossary as these resources are key when acquiring academic content-specific vocabulary. Let's remember that cognates help our ELLs with any language proficiency level. Next, let's talk about virtual field trips. Many of our students don't have the opportunity at this time to visit many of the locations described during our instruction. Therefore, in order to build background knowledge for our students, we could use a very awesome tool, Google Earth, as an opportunity to explore many important sites through virtual field trips. In the example I'm about to show you, while students are learning about the ancient Israelites in that world history class, they can explore top sites like the Museum of the Good Samaritan and the Western Wall while using Google Earth. Let's take a look.
Okay, so that was part one of our video. So at this time, we're going to go right into part two.
Google Earth is such a simple tool to use. All I did was type earth.google.com. Then we will search for the specific location we're interested in learning about. In this case, I am going to look for Jerusalem in Israel. And then just take a look at how neat it is to just travel already to the location. And when looking at more information, our students will have an opportunity to also look at specific pictures from the site that we're looking at in this case. And we can make some connections to um, the vocabulary that we're learning, but also we can discuss how this site or how the life of people in these locations is similar or different to the one from our own countries. And as I told you, we can look at specific sites too. Here's the Western Wall. When you click on it, then it's going to give you the opportunity to also learn more information on specific pictures, which is so nice to look at. And when flying there, we can get a little up close and we can definitely look at the city, um, different aspects of it. So, of course, it's going to take a little bit of time. As you see, it's adjusting right now and it's downloading. But when you are working with this tool with your students, um, you will notice how nice it is to just have the conversations with the students about what they know, what do they expect to see, um, how is this information important for them. Um, there's so many good opportunities for conversation for the oral language to build that oral language with our students. So I definitely recommend using Google Earth. It's such a beautiful experience. It's such a beautiful virtual tool that I recommend that we use with our English language learners. All right, so back to the presentation. Next, after students review important concepts before, during, and after a lesson, they can complete an exit ticket by focusing on what they know, what they understand after reviewing a lesson, and completing a sentence frames using some of the important key vocabulary words and concepts learned. Let's take a look at this activity in Jamboard. Exit tickets are important to assess student comprehension through writing. In this example, our students are given the opportunity to write what they know about a specific topic. Then we're able to remind them what they understood from the lesson. And finally, we ask them to complete sentence frames using key vocabulary word from the word bank provided. Another important activity that reinforces teaching content-specific vocabulary is matching pairs, activity found in Nearpod. Before students match pictures with their definitions, we can teach words further by describing how words can be either verbs or nouns, as in the example of the word bear, when defining the Second Amendment. Next, the use of YouTube videos can be specific and important in our social studies classrooms. However, a good recommendation is that students always have a clear focus before and while watching these videos, and that they're paired with this quick anticipation guide activity, such as the one described in the example. In addition to doing virtual field trips through Google Earth to build background knowledge for our students, we can also use the virtual reality activities found in Nearpod to help our students make comparisons between how important geographical sites look then and now. Our students love to find similarities and differences between their textbooks and the present or current world. Here is an opportunity for students to enter virtual reality and explore Egypt versus now looking at a map of Egypt from their textbook. Vocabulary is also another resource found through the Nearpod account. Multicultural Ed Department provides all teachers with English language learners in their classroom a Nearpod license. So once you search a specific lesson under the Social Studies library, you will notice that there is an opportunity for students to practice vocabulary and to reinforce their reading skills as well. Here's an example of forms of government, and notice how the students have the vocab cards and the opportunity to read and look at the lyrics of the song that use that vocabulary for that lesson. Here's another example of the vocabulary flashcards available to support vocabulary instruction as well. Also, notice that the opportunity for students to read passages and to learn more about the topics in the video is also provided in vocabulary. So, what we like is that key words are highlighted to reinforce the concepts learned. Next, students can read the lyrics of the songs in the vocabulary videos and can follow along when teachers do choral reading. Activities such as this provide a model of fluent reading to our English language learners. Finally, the last tool we will talk about is ReadWorks. We do know that the power of reading in content area classrooms is important, and ReadWorks provides great articles for our ELLs to read along with vocabulary and comprehension activities. Here's an example of how students interact with vocabulary first. Notice that there's an opportunity to evaluate their knowledge of the words used in the text that they will read in class. Also, self-assessment skills can be adapted to a student's level of language proficiency, and this helps students assess their ability to comprehend academic vocabulary within a text, passage, or use that vocabulary in an oral report. Students are given the opportunity to answer comprehension questions too that align to the standards in each lesson. We like the fact that questions and answers are also read aloud to the students. This helps our students improve their listening skills as well. In addition, it's a great way to improve pronunciation. We have come to an end, and all I want you to remember is what matters. Learning another language is not only learning different words for the same things, but learning another way to think about things. I want to thank you so much for your attention to this presentation. I hope you find these tech tools useful and applicable to your instructional needs. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and please do not hesitate to reach out to me through the email shown on the screen right now. Have a great day.
Wow, that was some great information that was shared with us by Allyson. And we really do thank Allyson for putting this information together to tell us all about how connections make it easier to learn. Because definitely we know that connections help us to learn new things by connecting it to prior knowledge. And technology is definitely a useful tool. It's very useful in activating prior learning and making it relevant and promoting and sustaining new learning. So we want to thank Allyson so very much for that great and very helpful use for information. So again, here is the agenda. And so I just want to remind you to please join us for our next session. And in the meantime, please go by our exhibit hall exploration. And everything is on the technologyconference.palmbeachschools.org platform. And again, I just want to present to you all of the members of our EdTech team. And I want to thank you for joining this session because there's so many sessions that you could have chosen. And we're just so happy that you chose this session. And we thank you so much for coming to this session. And so this is going to bring us to the end of our session at this time.